The Fishing Paper Show is proudly brought to you by United Fisheries, bringing fresh fish to your plate.
Hello, I'm Crimpy and welcome. It's nice to have you along this week on the Fishing Paper Show. It's a little bit of a show with a difference for us. For the first time we have something unusual, a strip show with a difference. We look at tactics for targeting trout in lakes. And have you heard of whitebait? Well, try herding whitebait. Now there's something that's a little bit different. But first off, I'd like to thank the viewers for the correspondence that keeps coming in about the show. I'd like to share some of them with you. We have some emails coming in. Dear Crimpy, congratulations on a fabulous show. I love the relaxed style of the show and think it's great when you keep taking the mickey out of that Steve Terry bloke. He really is gullible and deserves everything he gets. And that's from a Mrs. Terry of Christchurch. Dear Crimpy, love the show but think that your attacks on Steve Terry are uncalled for. So one in support of Steve. Poking fun at a person just because he's fat and has a huge gut is uncalled for. It is indeed uncalled for. If you hadn't bothered to notice, Steve Terry has actually lost weight and is doing well with his program. Oh. And that one was signed from Jenny Craig. So, welcoming my guest to the shed this week, of course on my immediate left is Steve Terry.
Thank you, Crimpy.
Nice to have you back
Thank
here.
you for that welcome. Yes.
No, you're most welcome. And Mark Preston from Hamills. Good to have you here.
G'day, Crimpy.
And we'll be talking. What? So no, you can't interrupt me when I'm on a flow. I've told you. Sorry, I've got the fat controller in my ear again. Yeah, well, it's not my problem. All right. I'm sorry, but something has gone terribly wrong. Doing the rounds of the viral email is this picture of an Alaskan dentist, Dr. Richard Craft, taking during one of his routine oral examinations. Now, Dr. Craft was kayaking at the entrance to the Catlin Bay when a whale surfacing to scoop herrings decided there was something fishy about the good doctor. It proved the whale had class because if you were taken in by the pick, you were conned. An investigation by the Fishing Paper Show's investigative journalist, one Richard Tracy, has revealed that the image is not what it seems. In fact, the picture is a clever combination of two separate photographs taken by an Alaska photographer. All I can say is that if anyone sent it to you, they must be gullible and have the IQ of a mullet. And mine was sent to me by Steve Terry. What are you thinking of?
Oh.
Did you really believe that was for real?
No, shouldn't I?
No.
No.
You're just trying to wind people up.
Yeah.
All right. You've been busy out in the field?
Have been very busy. It's just that time of year where things are happening. So.
And you've been doing a lot of rescue work, I believe, on some trout recently.
Salvaging a few trout up the Harper River.
Yeah.
Where it flows into Lake Coleridge. There's a power scheme intake there and the fish can't get up the drop, so they all congregate below before spawning and we've had to go.
Is this something that Fish and Game that you do on a regular basis? Is this a major part of your work?
I wouldn't say it's a major, it's a significant part at certain times of the year, little localised events with different irrigation intakes and shutdowns and salvaging fish when they have a routine operation to fix up raceways or just routine maintenance work, so we're called in and just rescue all the fish. So.
All right, we've got some footage taken out in the field, so we'll show that now and see whether you can talk us through what's happening here, Steve.
Oh, this is Macrae's Flat Gold Mine. Otago Fishing Game in conjunction with the Macrae's Flat Gold Mine have started up a hatchery. The stripping fish basically, so the previous shot was taking the milt out of the males, and this is taking the eggs out of the females. So basically there's a little compressor that injects a small amount of air into the stomach cavity, and that forces the eggs to come out, and they're kept separate. Obviously we try not to get any water in them, and yeah, we basically stripped 150,000 here. We're mixing all the eggs together and then adding the male milt, and then you add a small amount of water, activates the milt, and basically in 30 seconds they're all fertilised. So as we're watching it,
So it's as quickly as that?
It's as quick as that. So there's a small amount of water added shortly, and they stir them around by hand, and then, yeah, it's a month later.
So why
they'll hatch.
Okay, so why are you putting in different cupfuls there?
It's to ensure that the milk all works. So some milk's got a little bit of water in it, it's already been activated, or the eggs might not be right. Just trying to mix the breed, mix the stock as well. So you've got to, hopefully all the eggs are fertilised by at least one of those lots of milk. It doesn't take much milk, and some of them may not be any good. So we don't know that until later on. So here we are, tipping them into the stainless steel troughs, which simulate what's happening in the wild with the water upwelling through these stainless steel troughs. We leave them in here for basically 2 months. It'll take a month for them to hatch, and then they live off the yolk sac attached to their stomach for the month following that.
And these fish here are...
This is part of the reason we're doing it, to stock. This is actually surplus brood stock, so these ones have been stripped and we're putting them into the groins for kids to catch, but this is the program that we're trying to start with quite a few thousand fish going into these ponds at the groins this summer, hopefully around about 1 pound, so that's from Christmas on.
Now you're rearing the fish at Montrose hatchery.
Yes.
And it's not only Canterbury that are benefiting from the program. No,
so all these 150,000 eggs that we've been given this year didn't cost us anything, and then we're on growing to give back to the fishing game regions throughout the South Island so they can then stock their waterways as well. So it's a reasonably cost-effective process. It's not, and this is actually Lady Isaac donated 430 salmon for the Take Kid Fishing event recently. So this is just the guys catching them and transferring them out to the groins. But some of the fish were also double-figure fish. I think there's probably a 10-pound fish in there somewhere.
These are a great resource for the kids across.
They're fantastic, yeah.
Fish for these.
Yep.
So how did the Take Kid Fishing competition go this year?
I think it was good. They didn't advertise it as heavily as they have in the past, and so the numbers were more manageable. In the past they've had 5,000 or 6,000 kids there. I think this year they had, off the top of my head, 3,000 or 4,000.
So it's a lot more manageable.
More manageable, and there's 450 fish to catch. There's not,
so
not all the kids are going to catch one, obviously. So.
No, those fish that we saw before, those big ones, any of those caught?
Yeah, there were quite a few. Normally about a third to a half of the fish are caught on a day, and probably 2 or 3 weeks afterwards the remainder of them are all caught, so within 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, good. All right, well here's fish of a different kind, smaller fish in fact. Have you heard of whitebait?
Let her go, Terry. Get away back. Come in now. Settle down. Settle down. Steady. Steady. Way to go, Terry. That'll do. That'll do.
Send us your viewers' vids to PO Box 9001 Annesbrook, Nelson, or email us a YouTube link to crimpy@extra.co.nz. All right, it's time for us to take a wee break, but when we come back, we go fishing off the west coast and we look at tactics for targeting trout in lakes.